I just made over $5,000 in one Bitcoin trade that I took alongside my premium Discord, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Now, this trading strategy is so simple that anybody can learn it, even if you're a beginner, and I'm going to break this down into 3 easy steps for you guys. I'm going to cover the tools that I use, the exact trading strategy, as well as the specific entry confirmations that we looked for to actually give us the confidence to let us know that it was going to indeed be a high probability trade. I'll also go over how I managed this trade from start to finish to maximize my gains while also protecting my money and locking in profits along the way. By the end of this video, you'll have a full understanding of this trading strategy and 3 easy steps to follow so you can apply this to your own trading and start making money trading Bitcoin, whether price goes up or down. Let's get into it. Now, before we get into the actual trade recap, guys, I want to break down those 3 easy to follow steps that I use to find these high probability setups. Now, number 1 is going to be to plan your trade. You have to have a plan for your trade. If you don't have a plan, you don't know where the trade's going to go, and you're essentially just gambling at that point, which is not what you want to do. So you're going to have to find those key levels, and in this strategy, we're going to be using the volume profile for this, and that's going to give us our key levels, and we can simply just sit on our hands and wait for price to come into those key levels before we even think about taking a trade. I always say trading is not a game of hunting, it is more of a game of trapping. You want to find those areas of confluence, sit on your hands, wait for price to come into those levels, and then, and only then, are you going to be looking for your trade entries. Now, step number 2 is kind of part of your trading plan, but it's going to be to set your trap. And like I said, within the volume profile, we'll have 3 very key levels that we're looking at, and those are going to be our traps. We're only going to be looking for trades if price is coming into one of those zones. And these are areas where we have what we like to call confluence, which is where you have multiple levels of support or resistance coming in at a specific zone on the chart. This gives you a good amount of confidence that you're going to have a high probability of a reaction, which is, of course, what you're going to want to be looking for if you want to take a trade. You don't want to get caught up in that choppy price action. You're going to wind up chopping up your account and losing all your money slowly over time. And number 3, and the final step, is to simply look for confirmations to actually pull the trigger on the trade. Sometimes price will approach a key level of support or resistance. You won't get any confirmations, whether they're bullish or bearish, and in that case, you wouldn't want to take the trade. So it's very important that you're only taking these trades if you get the confirmations. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at a zone on the chart I want to take a trade at, I don't see the confirmations, and I would still go ahead and take the trade, and what do you know, it would wind up not playing out, and I would wind up getting stopped out, or back in the day, before I used good risk management, I would get liquidated. And I hope that you guys can learn from my mistakes, and you can start off on the right foot and just start off using good risk management from the get-go. And I'm going to cover that a little bit more at the end of the video. So those are the 3 simple to follow steps, guys. You want to plan your trade, set your trap, and then you're just going to want to wait to see those entry confirmations. Once you see those confirmations, you can go ahead and pull the trigger on the trade. So guys, let's go ahead and jump into this trade recap. Like I said, we'll be using the volume profile here, not only to plan the trade, but also to figure out the actual roadmap of what we're going to be looking for, where we're looking to take profit, etc. So for this trade, guys, the plan was to come down to our value area low, where we had a daily level of horizontal support, as well as another key level, which I like to call swing failure levels, where we know we have liquidity sitting below, which gives us the option to look for a swing failure pattern, one of the highest probability entry confirmations you could possibly use. If you don't know how to trade SFPs, I'll link another card above here so you could go ahead and check out our free tutorial showing you exactly how I trade these SFPs. So guys, now we have our trade planned. If we come into this key level of support where we know we have confluence, we know exactly what entry confirmations we're going to look for. If price comes down into our level, we're then going to look for those entry confirmations in anticipation of getting back into our range, flipping that value area low to support, and then getting our move up to the POC, which is going to be our first take profit, before eventually getting above and hoping that we can get up to that final take profit, which is going to be the value area high, for that trade to play out in full. Now, I'm not taking the trade unless we come down here and get those entry confirmations. So if we go ahead and move price forward here, guys, you could see price did wind up getting a drop into our key level of support, and this is where I like to jump down to the lower time frames to actually look for the entry confirmations to pull the trigger on the trade. Now, on this exact setup, guys, we were looking for bullish divergences as well as a swing failure pattern to give us the indication to fire on the trade and look for this plan to eventually play out. Price comes down into our key level, our alerts go off, and this is where we're going to be looking for those entry confirmations. So I come down to the lower time frames, and like I said, we're going to be looking for bullish divergences, which we do not have right now, but what we need is a lower low on price. So we let price bing bong around here, and sure enough, we get that drop to the downside, giving us the lower low on our price action with that higher low on our momentum waves. And if you don't have Market Cipher B, you can use the RSI. It'll give you very, very similar signals, but we get that bullish divergence as well as the swing failure pattern with our wick down below that key SFP level at 90,300 and that candle closure above, giving us the confidence to pull the trigger on that long position and see if we could get that trade to play out in full. So we went ahead and pulled the trigger on that trade, guys, with the plan of eventually holding on to our value area low, getting that move into our POC with our stop loss below our wick here, giving us us a clear invalidation. If price comes down and breaks this low, we want to get out of the trade for a small loss, but this is a very, very good risk to reward. If we get stopped out, we lose a tiny bit, but if we win the trade, we get a whole lot of money. So it took a little while here, but if we play price forward, you can see price does wind up bouncing from our value area low. And where does it go, guys? It goes directly into our point of control, which is our first take profit. And at this point, I am locking in a portion of my profits. Now, whether you want to lock in 30, 40, 50%, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of personal preference. I tend to lock in between 30 and 50% at the first take profit. So we lock in profits at this key level. And then what we can do is move our stop loss to break even. Now, what this does is it keeps our opportunity of making extra gains in case we see the flip of the POC and the move into the value area high. We can capitalize on those extra gains while locking in profit here, because if the trade does wind up going against you for some reason and you stop out, you are now stopping out at break even, but you already took some money off the table. So you get stopped out, but you still wind up winning the trade. This is the only way to guarantee a winning trade. You have to manage that risk correctly. And if we continue to play the price forward here, you can see we bing bong around that POC. Like I said, it does like to act as the strongest magnet within the profile. So price does tend to stick around here a little bit, but eventually we get the break of that point of control. And once we break above that POC and hold it as support, we finally come in to hit that take profit in full, giving us the full play out of that trade, making me over $5,700 in profit. And it only took about 3 days for that trade to play out. Now, there are a few other things that helped us manage this trade as price was coming up. Things such as Market Cipher B's money flow. You could see your money flow was crossing into the green here as you were tapping the POC. And we know money flow indicates the longer term trend. So as we are tapping key resistance, as that money flow comes up, it lets us know that that trend is very likely to continue to the upside, giving us the confidence to, again, hold that trade into final take profit. We have tons of tutorials on the channel showing you guys how to use Market Cipher B to add more confidence to your trades. So you can check those out in the beginner series. But in a nutshell, guys, this is that simple trading strategy that we used in order to get this beautiful 12% move on Bitcoin, netting me about $5,700 and some change in just 3 days time. And there is nothing special here, guys. This is a super simple trading strategy, super simple entry confirmations. Now, keep in mind, guys, the entry confirmations will change from trade to trade. There's many different confirmations we can look for, but in this particular case, it was just those bullish divergences and swing failure patterns based off our wick down here where we know we have that liquidity sitting. So you're not always going to be looking for SFPs or bullish divergences. There's all different types of confirmations. And at this point, guys, I actually didn't even close the trade in full. I actually did take a second take profit. I moved my stop loss up into profit in case we did break out of here and go higher, which we did actually wind up doing, making a new all-time high at about $109,000. And I did grab some extra gains up here. But again, if the trade went against me, I still locked in profit 2 times, which would have just stopped me out. Making money, even though you technically lost the trade, you could still make that money. And that all comes down to good risk management and capital preservation. So guys, in a nutshell, that is that simple trading strategy that we use to find this trade. And you can use this on any time frame. We take trades like this in the premium Discord all the time. We just caught this short position on a local profile on a deviation above the high before getting back down into that POC. And I am holding that trade right now up about $800. I already locked in $900 in profit on this, but I still have $800 unrealized. And this was a lower time frame trade. And yesterday we even had a long position play out on a deviation below this value area low to get that full rotation of the profile, just to show you guys how high probability of a strategy this actually is and how many opportunities this gives you to look for trades and make money, whether price is going up, down, or sideways. Price action ranges 80% of the time. And one of the reasons I love this strategy so much is because it gives you so many opportunities to catch these trades from the value area high to the low, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high. And now we are getting that move potentially back down to this value area low, where hopefully we can get another trade to play out in full here. And we are absolutely crushing these in the premium Discord where I share all my personal trade setups. But I did just want to break down this trade for you guys. I mentioned it on my live stream, and it's a really simple strategy. So if you're looking to get into trading, this is what I would recommend you start with. Check out the YouTube channel. We have tons of free tutorials showing you exactly how I look for certain confirmations or how I find my key levels. This whole YouTube channel is a free trading course, so take advantage of it. And with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's video. Hopefully you found value in this. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our other trade recaps, trading strategy breakdowns, or urgent market updates if you want to keep up with the live market. And with all that being said, that's all the time I got for this video. Frankie Candles out.
At the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to